We were seeing a marital therapist, and I think he just got tired of the stress and the uncertainty of it. And the next day, I went into my therapist's office, and he had left a message for her to tell me that he was filing for divorce.
Elon Musk is known for his ambitious vision, pushing the boundaries of technology and making headlines worldwide. But his first wife, Justine Musk, has given us a rare look into the side of him most people have never seen, the side behind closed doors. In her candid reflections, Justine describes a marriage filled with control, deep losses, and the challenges of living alongside a man consumed by his goals. From the start of their relationship to the painful ending, her story pulls back the curtain on what it's really like to be married to one of the world's most powerful men. What was life with Elon Musk truly like?
Because the man in question, their father, my ex-husband, or as I sometimes like to think of him, my baby daddy, so, is the visionary entrepreneur. Sorry, I'm nervous.
When Justine Musk met Elon at Queen's University in Ontario, she was just 18, an aspiring writer with big dreams of her own. Elon, a year older, wasn't the typical romantic interest she envisioned. She was drawn to the poetic and rebellious types, while Elon was clean-cut, ambitious, and laser-focused. Despite her initial disinterest, Elon wasn't the kind of guy to take no for an answer. After she turned down his invitation to go out for ice cream, he showed up hours later with 2 melting cones, patiently waiting for her. This act of persistence became a theme in their relationship. Elon knew what he wanted, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way.
He would ask me out, and I would say no. And he would call me up again, and he would ask me out, and I would say no. And it went on like this until we ended up living together in an apartment in the Bay Area.
Their relationship quickly grew, but from the beginning, there were signs that Elon's ambitions would overshadow everything else. While Justine was drawn to his intellect and support for her dreams of becoming a writer, she soon realized that Elon's vision was all-consuming. After graduation, Elon moved to Silicon Valley to start building his first company, Zip2. Despite the distance, he continued to pursue her, sending her roses and inviting her to California. The excitement of his ambitions drew her in, and soon she was flying out to visit, gradually becoming part of his world. When Justine eventually joined him in California, Elon's dreams were already taking shape. In 2000, the couple married, and she was introduced to a new lifestyle, one that was constantly changing as Elon's career took off. He'd sold Zip2, become a millionaire, and then founded X.com, which would eventually become PayPal. But along with his wealth, a power imbalance started to emerge. Early on, Elon insisted on signing a financial agreement. Although he assured her it wasn't a prenup, Justine would later discover the consequences of this document. She trusted Elon and brushed off her doubts, but that decision would echo throughout their marriage. After they married, Justine realized that Elon's controlling tendencies weren't just part of his business. They seeped into every part of their life. She recalls him telling her, "I am the alpha in this relationship." At first, she shrugged off his comment, seeing it as just another quirk of his strong personality. But over time, Elon's influence grew to the point where her own voice was barely heard. In arguments, he would often say things like, "If you were my employee, I would fire you." These comments weren't just dismissive. They cut deep, making Justine feel insignificant in a marriage that was supposed to be a partnership.
By the time we divorced, we were living in a house in Bel Air with no roommates and a miniature dachshund who still was not house-trained.
Their wealth increased dramatically, especially after eBay acquired PayPal. By this time, Justine and Elon had welcomed their first child, Nevada. But tragedy struck when Nevada, just 10 weeks old, passed away from sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS. For Justine, the grief was unimaginable, and she desperately needed support. But Elon's response was to distance himself from the pain, dismissing her open grieving as emotionally manipulative. Instead of providing comfort, he shut down, leaving Justine to mourn alone. This loss and the isolation that followed was a painful indication of how distant they had become. Justine tried to move forward, even amidst the heartbreak. She and Elon went on to have twins and later triplets through IVF, but their relationship continued to strain under Elon's need for control. Her sacrifices piled up as she tried to balance motherhood and her writing career, but Elon's dismissive attitude toward her ambitions left her feeling undervalued. She found herself slipping into a role she had never wanted, that of a trophy wife. Elon, once supportive of her dreams, now mocked her need for intellectual and emotional depth, focusing instead on the image he wanted her to fit into. Over time, Justine's feelings of insignificance grew. Elon's presence at home became more fleeting, with his mind constantly on his work. They lived a luxurious lifestyle, filled with private jets, lavish parties, and encounters with Hollywood elites. Yet the glitter and glamour couldn't fill the emptiness that was forming between them. Elon's focus on his career left little room for the emotional connection Justine craved. For her, life was becoming an endless cycle of keeping up appearances while feeling increasingly invisible. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 2008, after nearly 8 years of marriage, Justine was in a minor car accident. The collision itself was jarring, but her first thought wasn't relief or gratitude. It was fear. She thought, "My husband is going to kill me." This reaction was a wake-up call, a sign of just how far their relationship had drifted from the partnership she had once hoped for. Looking at her reflection in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She realized she'd become a version of herself she didn't want to be. Blonde, thin, and playing a role that no longer fit. She knew that something had to change. In the spring of that year, Justine finally confronted Elon. She expressed her desire for a more equal relationship, one where she wasn't sidelined in her own life. But Elon, consumed by his own pressures, wasn't open to change. He issued an ultimatum. Either they fixed the marriage on his terms, or he would file for divorce. The next day, he did just that. For Justine, it was a devastating end to years of trying to make things work. Their marriage, which had once felt so full of promise, was over. The financial agreement that Justine had signed years earlier became a source of struggle during the divorce proceedings. She soon realized that by signing the postnup, she had unknowingly given away her rights, effectively losing control over her own future. The legal battles that followed were drawn out and painful, as Justine tried to secure a fair settlement amidst a complicated web of legalities and financial disclosures. Despite the personal cost, she fought on, not only for herself, but for the stability and future of her children. In the years that followed, Justine began to rebuild her life. She returned to her passion for writing and found solace in her own voice. She dyed her hair back to its natural color, symbolizing her reclaiming of her identity. She stepped away from the role she had been molded into, finding strength in her independence and a renewed sense of purpose. Although her relationship with Elon had left scars, it had also taught her invaluable lessons about resilience, self-worth, and the importance of staying true to oneself. Today, Justine's reflections on her marriage to Elon Musk serve as both a cautionary tale and a testament to her strength. Her story sheds light on the sacrifices and challenges that can come with being part of someone else's dream, especially when that dream leaves little room for partnership or equality. Through her experiences, Justine has shown that while ambition can build empires, it can also strain relationships, create imbalances, and test the limits of love. Her account reminds us that even the most successful, influential people are still human, with flaws, blind spots, and struggles of their own. Justine's journey to reclaim her identity is an inspiring reminder that even in the face of powerful personalities and overwhelming odds, it's possible to find a way back to oneself. For her, life after Elon became a path to freedom and self-discovery, proving that sometimes the end of one story can be the beginning of another. What do you think about Justine Musk's story? Did her revelations change the way you see Elon Musk? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories that reveal the unseen sides of influential figures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.